My name is Ruby Topalian, and this is the Teenage Feminist. This is our first official episode, and today we have guests Sophie Bagheri and Layla Sutherland coming on to talk about a number of different topics pertaining to feminism. Sutherland and Bagheri run a feminism club at their local Maryland high school, and the conversation today was absolutely incredible. So stick around and enjoy. Hello. Okay. Welcome to the Teenage Feminist. Today we have Sophie Bagheri and Layla Sutherland. They are part of a leadership team for a local feminist club in the Maryland area. And do you guys want to just introduce yourself really quick?
Hi, I'm Layla.
I'm Sophie.
Yeah. And what do you guys do as like a part of? Do you want to just like explain what you guys do as a part of like the feminism club?
Basically we plan meetings and we organize drives and we're really active on social media. So it's just kind of a variety of different things.
True. And we make presentations and to educate like the members of the club.
It's awesome. Yeah, no, I love it. Their meetings are super informative and super fun. So, and the reason I wanted you guys like on today was just to kind of talk about there's like kind of a lot going on in the world of feminism right now, and outside of just like, the classic, gender gap, like pay gap, the sort of things that everyone knows about and things that we need to address like very badly. I just kind of wanted to talk about that, but also like some current events and some of your own personal experiences if you'd like. Like, first off, how do you guys like, because when I think of feminism, I think of just like, total equality, but like, how do you think that kind of like should manifest? Like, do you think women should support women? Like, do you think men should support women? Do you think it should be kind of like a joint thing? Or do you think like it should be more kind of like, the feminist movement should kind of come from the work of women?
I think both.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I think it is probably both. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of like a very general question.
I agree. I think like it's obviously about gender equality, but there's so much more. Like you really have to talk about race and class and
that's true.
We're white women, so I think we should talk to women of color about their struggles and really
that's true.
Get all perspectives.
Yeah, because there really are like it is crazy how like there really are different sort of layers to feminism in the sense of like white women have very different experiences from Black women who have very different experiences from Asian women who have very different experiences from like transgender women. So it's just all very different. And I think one of the things I've kind of had to learn is like it isn't just this one like big movement in that sense. Like we're all united by this one cause, but there really are layers to it. I think that's really
totally.
Yeah, and I think that, like there are other movements like that, but I think that's kind of particularly specific to feminism. So that's really interesting. But like, would you guys say that, like, do you think men need to be more involved in the feminism movement? Like, I know right now, like we kind of have sort of it's largely dominated by women. And there are obviously a couple men here and there, or like a small amount of men who maybe feel passionately about feminist movement. But do you guys think that like men need to get more involved? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Personally, I don't think so, because I think men should be allies. But if it gets to the point where they're saying, "Oh, this is how women need to achieve equality," that's kind of ironic. Like
that's true.
Telling us what to do. So I think that they should be there as allies, but I don't think they need to be more involved in that.
Well, I think we definitely need like more allies, more male allies for sure, because I feel like, well, you're right, Layla, I do agree with you, but I feel like also just women, like I feel like if it's just us, that's going to get us far, but not far enough, but not to the point where they're telling us what to do.
It's almost like there needs to be more acceptance on the part of men.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like, right. Like, I feel like even as teenagers, I've had so many experiences and encounters with men where it's kind of like they they kind of belittle the feminist movement, and they make it sound like, I don't know, they make it sound
like it's
we're
an anti-men movement.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're trying to eradicate men, which is not what we're doing.
Exactly.
I mean, there are women like that, and like that's a whole different set of issues. But like on the whole, like the feminist movement is not about that. And I think that as soon as we can kind of like start to shift that narrative, I think that's when things can get better. But I agree with you, Layla. Like I think it would be kind of counterproductive to be like, yeah, men need to be like heading the feminist movement, or like they need to be that's not really, I don't know, it seems counterproductive, so that's interesting.
I agree. It needs to be like a balance. They need to be there as allies, but not telling us what to do.
Yeah, and it's like even changing, like having people like men and like teenage boys and things like that, having those demographics like stop sort of thinking in that way of like, I think there's like a subconscious like thing that men do, not to stereotype, but like I've had many experiences in this area where like a lot of like my male classmates will just like talk over me or think that they have like the right to just like, you know, criticize my every move. And I do think a lot of that comes from like the fact that I'm a woman. And it's interesting, as I'm like getting older, I'm seeing that even more and more in like some of my like my older family members who are women. I'm seeing that more and more in their lives, and I'm seeing how like that's affected them over the years. And I think that like if we can just start to sort of stand up for ourselves, like sometimes making a noise and like kind of being the one that's like, stop talking over me, I think that could be kind of a huge thing. I think as we return back to school, I kind of hope that we can sort of do that, because I think prior to COVID, it wasn't really something I ever really thought about, but now like reflecting back, I don't know.
That's true.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you guys have any experiences with that? Like have you ever like felt like you were talked over, or like just like general things like your male teachers maybe, or like even even female teachers, frankly?
All the time.
Yeah, you guys have had that happen?
Definitely.
Like, yeah.
And I didn't even like realize it at the time, but like I'm always being talked over, especially because I'm just more quiet just in general. And so it's like I am like have to make like a conscious like decision to be assertive.
Right.
Like I'm literally, it's just that it's a conscious effort.
Yeah.
But every time I am, like it's fine, it goes well. But for some reason, I'm so scared to do it.
I totally get that.
Yeah. I just have to practice it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I think it's gonna have to be like an active like effort in a way, like on all of our parts, to just like start standing up for ourselves. And it's not, I think this kind of ties into something else I wanted to talk about. We don't need to be like radical about it, like, and I hate to use that word, but like we don't need to be like screaming at each other over it. Like I just don't think that's the way to approach it personally.
Yeah, I agree.
And just can weigh in on that. But like I think that like we kind of need to find a balance to where men don't think that we're just like, you know, like telling them what to do, but then at the same time like we kind of need to be powerful and in a very uplifting way, and kind of in a way tell them what to do. So I think it's kind of like a balance of like not offending anyone, but also like being like offending people is kind of like how you get stuff done. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely weird. Have you guys like what are your thoughts on like what's been happening with like Meghan Markle recently? Like she's kind of been like the poster child for like using kind of that sort of, or like having those experiences, being a woman, being like a woman of color. She's kind of been the poster child for like, you know, what that can kind of do to you in a way, and how like, you know, I mean, I don't know how to word it, but like she's definitely gone through some things being in the royal family for that short amount of time. Like, do you guys have any thoughts on that? And do you think like maybe she like kind of abused her position as a woman to get what she wanted or whatever? People have been saying that. What are your thoughts on that? Anything?
I don't know, honestly. Like, because I feel like it's not really in my place to, because I mean, I'm white, so definitely her struggles are different than mine, and I don't want to like call her a liar, because I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So I don't know.
Oh.
But
I mean,
oh, what happened?
oh, I think we're going through a little bit of some tech.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. No, I feel that though.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a weird situation. I think as a white woman, sorry, there's some technical difficulties going on. I think as a white woman, I am in a position of privilege, and I think we kind of all have to be sort of sympathetic to other people's experiences. And so whether we agree with them or not, sometimes you kind of just have to like kind of just listen and be the person to just like, I hear you and like I understand that. And I think that works both ways. I think a huge issue in the feminist movement is kind of like who, I don't know, I think there's a kind of a bias towards like more liberal, radical ideas. Do you guys like with J.K. Rowling and like kind of her support or her like her she's just come out and said like she doesn't want to support the transgender movement because she believes it takes away from the feminist movement. Do you think that should also kind of be listened to? Because I know like people have been pretty open about listening to like Meghan Markle and people who are a little bit more on that end of the spectrum. Like, do you think that we need to listen to all voices in that way?
I honestly do not understand J.K. Rowling's opinion at all.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, technical difficulties. But Layla,
That's okay.
Talking about like J.K. Rowling, do you guys have any thoughts on that? I think Sophie was saying.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand how you can believe that's taking away from the feminist movement. Like, because if a girl wants to be a boy, then
yeah, I agree with
they
Sophie.
could still be a feminist, and that doesn't mean that they're not supporting girls.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the whole thing with like cis women. Like a lot of the debate has been about that. Is like white like women don't like women who are born women don't feel like they should have to call themselves cis women. It's kind of like,
oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
and like
I think we should just to show our support for the transgender movement. And I agree with Sophie. I don't really understand J.K. Rowling.
I think it's interesting because she has been
opinions.
like, and I am kind of with you on the whole like don't hate on people just for the I get that it's just not worth it, but at the same time, like she's kind of been sort of an advocate for women for the last decade in terms of like her have been so uplifting and like you know she's created these characters who like girls can literally look up to for the rest of time, and it like I think that kind of ties into cancel culture because it's like she's done all this amazing stuff and it's like now she's being canceled, so it's kind of like I don't love that part of our society. I think that like you know we should hear each other out in that way. Like I obviously don't have to entirely agree with her, but like I just hate that she's been canceled because it's kind of like she's still an incredible author and she still has like stood up for women for like decades, and I think it's different, and I think people sometimes maybe I don't know, it's a weird issue, and I think it's something that like there isn't really a right or wrong answer. I just think that like the cancel culture of our society kind of needs to stop because like people feel then that they can't speak out about anything without getting attacked, and I think that's an issue.
That's true.
You know,
that is I feel like honestly I think there are some people that just totally deserve it.
Yeah,
but you're right. I mean, you should be able to but like you should be able to say what you want to say, but like not like there needs to be a limit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like some people are so stupid. I'm like,
well,
how did you not see that coming?
Right. I mean, like there are people who like come out and like say like these incredibly racist things and like
yeah, exactly. I'm like, well,
yeah, like
bye.
Yeah, exactly. Like you deserve to be canceled, but like I don't know. I think it's bad to like lump people into like one group. I don't know. It's kind of
That's true. Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know. And then kind of with that, like how do you think we can like sort of uplift women and like encourage men in our community to kind of see the feminist movement for what it is and to really like kind of bring women to a place of like gender equality? I know that's a huge question and it's like something that we probably have been wondering for the last like century, but how do you think like in our like local communities And like as high schoolers, like what do you think we can do to kind of contribute to sort of bridging that gap?
I agree with what you were saying earlier, Ruby. Like, we need to be more assertive. And if we see something happening, racism, sexism, it's important to stand up and, speak out about it. Even just raising awareness, I think, can do a lot.
That's true. Just helping other women, just helping who you can, I think, is a big part of it.
Uplifting.
Because sometimes we don't. I mean, because we just get so like, I don't know, just
it's
sometimes we
nature.
don't.
Yeah, no, I think it's and human nature is like we're all like innately competitive, and I think that when
that's true,
right, like when someone does better than us, it like you're happy for them, but then some people also kind of are a little jealous, or maybe they just don't want to be fully supportive. And I think we have to start switching our mindset to just like if another woman succeeds, we have to uplift them. We can't like be kind of spiteful about it. And I think also just being aware of older women too. Like older women tend to be ignored. If you're 50, there's like a phrase it's like you're basically invisible. And I think that's really screwed up, and I think we need to start listening to those voices too, because as teenagers we're again in a position of privilege in the sense that we're young, we're loud, we're passionate, we're all those things. But as soon as you get to 50, you may still feel like you're young and you're passionate and all those things, but society basically tells you that you're not. So I think that if we can like lift up all voices, I think that is just so important. But
that's true.
What do you guys?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's so weird. There's such a connection between like youth and beauty and what like your perceived value is. And I think we really need to change that. Because I don't know exactly why a lot of older women aren't feel invisible. And so I think that's terrible.
Yeah. Definitely. Sorry if some of the audio cuts out, by the way. I don't know. It's like kind of weird, but
that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna be it's gonna take a long time to really uplift everyone, but I think it's a lot of just trying to promote positivity, and what you guys are doing is really great at the Feminism Club, and even getting more boys involved there is always something that would be beneficial, just kind of getting the whole community involved. But thank you guys, and do you have any like last words to kind of like end us off on? Do you think that there's anything that like listeners should sort of take away from the feminist movement, or something you'd want people to know about the movement?
I think I want people to start.
I think just everything we talked about.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So you're good to go. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I agree with you, Layla. But I also think another.
Wait, I'm sorry. My audio is being so weird.
That's okay. I also think like a main point is like starting young and start educating young, especially girls, but also boys, like just about feminism, and make sure they don't grow up with any bias. Because I think sometimes it's too late for older people, and like, oh, there's no way I can like change this, but hopefully we can with the next generation.
Definitely. Layla?
Yeah, I agree, Sophie. And just be good role models. Be good role models. Show them to be more assertive and uplifting of each other.
Yeah, definitely. And to any girls listening, stop saying sorry. We say sorry way too much.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Let's change that narrative, please.
Change your emails to how men write them.
Yes.
Believe me, it's a game changer.
You'll get, literally people are so much more responsive. It's so annoying. Do not say sorry. I literally myself saying it 7 million times a day. And unless you've like done something really bad, I guarantee you do not need to be saying sorry.
That's true.
But yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much. And this was the first episode of the Teenage Feminist. So stay tuned for new episodes in the coming weeks. But thank you.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was the first episode of the Teenage Feminist. Our guests were Sophie Bagari and Layla Sutherland, and that was a really great conversation. While most of that was me talking, and I definitely think that that's something that we'll fix in the future. I hope that you enjoyed. I'd like to apologize for any technical difficulties while listening. This was a trial run first episode, so definitely give us any feedback, and tune in for the next episode. Thank you.